My name is Rafael, you're watching Rock and Roll Garage, and today we're going to talk about 4 bands that James Hetfield said are some of his favorites of all time. But first, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and tell me what you think, if you agree with those bands or not, if you like them or not. And let's start. Well, the first one is UFO. That's right, the incredible British hard rock band, which had the incredible Phil Mogg as the vocalist, and also during their classic lineup had the bassist Pete Way and the guitarist Michael Schenker, who also had his own successful solo career and obviously was a member of Scorpions previously. And these bands, the Hetfield listed them in an interview with a Colombian radio called Radio Activa, and we selected a few things he said about these bands over the decades. And UFO, he revealed in an interview with Guitar World in 2018 that one of the reasons why he picked the Flying V guitar model to play was because of Michael Schenker, because he was a huge fan of UFO and grew up listening to their records, and he was a big fan of Michael Schenker, and he really inspired him to play the Flying V, just like Schenker was playing back in the 70s especially. And this is why he told Guitar World, "I got my white V in 1980. It was the second guitar I ever owned, and I probably brought it for $200. So I knew it was a copy, but we treated it as a real Gibson, and I wanted a white one because of Michael Schenker of UFO had one, so I needed one too." That's what he said about UFO and Michael Schenker, obviously. And we go to the second band, which is Aerosmith. And Aerosmith was a really important band for him during his teenager years, and he had the chance to watch the band when he was still a teenager. And curiously, the first concert he ever went to was Aerosmith with AC/DC as the opening act. Can you believe that? This happened back in, and he even knows the exact date. It was July 12, 1978, when he was only 15 years old. He went to see Aerosmith and AC/DC at the Long Beach Arena. I mean, there's not a more perfect concert to be your first concert ever. AC/DC opening for Aerosmith. It's just mind-blowing. And a few decades later, obviously, Metallica was invited by MTV Icon to honor Aerosmith on that show. And during his speech, Hetfield shared his love for the band, and this is what he said. "So I would just like to close my eyes and imagine myself in my room as that teenager listening to Toys in the Attic and Rocks, playing them to the grooves were worn out, listening to every Brad and Joe lick toward the very end, and I could sing every one of those things. So I would turn them up so loud to get every last note that the next song would scare the hell out of me, especially like little things like before my favorite song, which was Nobody's Fault. But anyway, there were plenty of posters on my wall. However, the one that really meant a lot to me was the one of Steven and Joe up there singing into the same microphone." And another interesting thing that he revealed about Aerosmith over the years is that he sent them letters asking for the lyrics, because he really wanted to know what they were singing about, because there were pieces of some songs he had no idea what they were singing. So he sent them the letters, but they didn't send the lyrics back to him. The third band is the incredible, one of my favorites too, Thin Lizzy, the Irish band. And all the Metallica members were big fans of Thin Lizzy, including the late legendary bassist Cliff Burton. And back in 2011, Hetfield, in an interview with Hot Press, really lamented the death of Phil Lynott, who was the band's co-founder, the bassist, the main lyricist, and obviously the vocalist. One of the most incredible frontmans of all time, for sure. And he said, this is what he said about Lynott, who is a hero for him. And he even, when he went to Ireland, he took a picture with Lynott's statue a few times. He said, it was one of those moments that was so sad when Lynott died. You just wondered, why did God take such a creative person? But I think there was a purpose to it all, because the struggles that he wrote about with drugs, drink, ethnicity, so all of those things, they almost speak louder now he has passed. For me, going through the struggle with alcohol and addiction in general, just going back and listening to his lyrics, it's like, whoa, I know what he's talking about now. I love that. This is what he said about Phil Lynott. Lynott passed away back in 1986 at the age of 36, because of drinking, drugs, and he developed septicemia and a pneumonia. So he passed away really soon, and obviously, if you're a Metallica fan, you probably know they successfully covered Whiskey in the Jar, which is a folklore song, but it became really famous, the version that Thin Lizzy did. And Metallica's version is a direct version to Thin Lizzy's version. So, and obviously they released in the 90s on their covers album, Garage Inc., and became a huge hit. And to these days, Metallica plays the track almost in every concert they play, especially in Ireland. So, and it's interesting because you see new generations and people who are not really into not really into rock and roll in general and know only the most famous bands. There are people who think it's a Metallica song. So you can see how important this cover was, because it led probably a few million people to discover the incredible band that Thin Lizzy was. And we reached the final band, which is Iron Maiden. But it's not really the entire Iron Maiden career. It's the early records, the first, especially the two first ones with Paul Di'Anno on vocals, which were, I think a little bit more closer to thrash. Maybe that's why Hetfield likes a little bit more close to punk. They were a little bit more aggressive, maybe faster, and the songs were shorter, obviously, because after Bruce joined the band, everything started to become a little bit more proggy, especially during the past 2 decades. So I think that's probably one of the main reasons why Hetfield likes those two first albums especially. And he told the radio station Radioactive, saying, early Iron Maiden albums, I love the new wave of the British heavy metal. That makes me feel good. It reminds me of youth. And the curious thing, and we already recorded a video about this, about the vocalists that Hetfield said, in his opinion, were the best of all time. He made a list to Rolling Stone magazine. You can watch the video here or below in the description. One of the vocalists, he put it in his top 10, was Paul Di'Anno, and he didn't choose Bruce Dickinson. He put Paul Di'Anno on the position number 8 as one of the best singers of all time. So you can see he's a big fan of those two albums, and maybe not that much of the Bruce Dickinson or Blaze Bayley era of Iron Maiden. And that's it. I hope you liked the video. Please let's talk about it. Leave your comment, tell me what you think, if you like these bands too or not, and any other cool stuff we can talk about. Okay? Thank you for watching, and I see you later.